Hi everyone, I'm here at Harvard College. I'm here with Dr. Zach Ritter. He's actually the Associate Dean at the Office of Institutional Diversity, so I'm really happy for you for being here. And if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at the office, that would be really great.
Help with Summer Institute that we've been planning together, which helps out first-gen students and Pell Grant recipients. It's a 2.5-week program. We're working on that. We've been working on the Building Bridges program, which is like a social justice 101 program. Also help out with guiding certain clubs on campus, affinity groups. I live in the residential hall, and so I help out with the living learning community in the residential hall. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I am forgetting. So you want to know how higher ed has changed since when I was a college student?
Yeah.
Well, I think the online stuff was not there because I started college in 2004 or 5, and I don't remember any like online courses, so that was definitely different then. I feel like the Trump effect has certainly had an effect. I don't remember it being as polarized at UCLA when I went there, in terms of like people really hating each other's guts for whatever reason, whether it be politics or otherwise. And so that's another big change that I've seen. It's almost interesting, like my father is very political and into history, and so he would always be riling me up, and I felt like it was my job to rile other people up because they didn't care about politics, they didn't care about history. I was like, how can you not? And now it's almost the opposite, where everyone's very invested in learning about what's going on and checking the news, and I think that's a good thing. Other stuff about higher ed, part-time adjunct faculty stuff has been the trend, and that's a problem because for the student, maybe at a community college, they don't get to really know the professor, and the professor becomes a freeway flyer, right? They're just driving from job to job, and they can't have healthcare or a good life because they're just doing adjunct teaching at all these different colleges. So, yeah.
What other challenges do you think students face as college students face in higher education?
Access to college is an issue for sure, and also paying for it and debt. I think Prop 209, what was that, 1996, basically ended affirmative action in the state of California. I think that was Ward Connerly who pushed that through, and ironically he was a black man who was very conservative and convinced some other folks that this was the right way to go. And if you look at the charts, students of color took a big hit because of that proposition. There have been other creative ways with holistic admissions, reading, that universities have tried to get more students of color and low-income students into the academy, right, which is already very exclusive in itself. And I think there have been efforts to expand Pell Grant up until this last year, when the Trump administration with Betsy DeVos cut $2.9 billion from the Pell Grant fund. So yeah, there are a lot of hardships that students of color and first-gen students face coming into the institution. And even when they're in there are certain programs now, like you and I work on, that help students adjust to life on college campus, and if no one in your family has gone through it, it's made to help you out. But at some institutions, those are oftentimes on the chopping block when budget cuts happen.
As the Assistant Dean of the Office of Institutional Diversity at Harvard College, what's one thing, or how do you want to leave your mark here?
Oh man. I used to work at University of Redlands, and I think the best thing there was like students they really liked me, and that felt good, right? Because you like when people like you. But I think the best part was like, man, you really made an impact on my life, and you really sparked my brain, right? Like Tupac said, I may not change the world, but I may spark the brain that will. And I think that's the philosophy that I live by. Because
what advice would you give to future student entrepreneurs, professionals coming into this field?
watch out. Be ready. Don't sleep. So like you're gonna learn a lot of stuff in your grad programs if you do that route, or you're gonna learn a lot of stuff in your work life, right? And then you come into this field and you're supposed to bring all this knowledge into it, and that's good. I think also in this field, it's a lot of kind of intuition, but also you need to bring a lot of like your love and compassion, and that stuff that can't really be taught, right? Because like you and I don't work at like Google or Facebook or like Goldman Sachs or a hedge fund place, right? Because I mean, not to, you know, if you're coming into the field, if you're coming into the field to make money, like first of all, it's the wrong field. Having some new discourse, because it's easy to get burnt out in this field, and you got to renew yourself and make time to be happy and healthy. Because I've seen a lot of people come in this field and they give their all, and then in a couple of years it's like, oh man, I gotta get out of here. So self-care, I think, is really important, and even though you're at a grad school, keep reading some of those, you know, books and some of those studies, because that theory to practice shouldn't just die in grad school. It should be a continual feedback loop.
Well, this concludes our interview, and I want to give a special thanks to Dr. Zach Ritter for letting me interview him, and I really appreciate all the work he has done here at Harvard College.
Cool. Thank you.
Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs some, everybody love, everybody know how it goes. Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs some, everybody love.